Okay everybody, back with an update on project CJ5. I believe the last time I talked to you guys on this project, I had just welded this top plate in here. Now I've got significantly a lot more done. Let me show you what I basically did. You saw that the inside was cut out. I did more cutting. Basically I have this bottom plate in, and ignore my ugly welds. I'm dealing with a lot of rust issues and I'm having problems getting in there to clean it properly. It is what it is. There's going to be a weld on the inside and a clean weld on the outside, so it'll be plenty strong enough. But you know, that's kind of the nature of the beast when you're working on rusted out vehicles. Sometimes you're just gonna, you know, unless you got a sandblaster, a spot sandblaster or something like that, you're just going to have to clean as well as you can and just have at it. So anyway, I got this bottom plate welded in. Spring bracket still needs to be welded, but it is sitting on there fine. It was originally welded from the outside, so that's no big deal. It is in place. I never even had to remove it. I just basically cut the metal off of it. Let me show you what I mean by that, because this side's ready to go. You see how, you can look in here closely, you see that back tab in there? That's welded to the outside of the frame. So when you're removing this bottom section here, you got to be really careful. If you cut that, then your spring bracket's going to come off. So I use my Everlast Power Plasma 50 to cut this section, and to cut this rear section, and to cut everything off the inside wall. And then I came in here with my angle grinder and cut across here. Okay? And well, first I used my Everlast Power Plasma 50 to cut the tops of these factory rivets off. I had to come back through and do a little grinding on this one. But once I cut that across here and got rid of those rivet heads, just basically stuck a wedge inside of here and just started beating that top piece off, and it'll eventually come off. There's a lot of rust holding it, but it did come off. So now the next step is to grind off these rivets so it's smooth, and try to clean up as much as I can, you know, the rust and metal areas where I'm going to be welding, so I don't have more of the issues I did on the other side, and weld in that bottom plate. Basically what I'm going to do, this is the flat section of the frame, so I'm going to use this as my guide. I know where I'm going to want to stop it here, and then I'm going to take this and just lay it flat on this perch, and then tack it in a couple of places, and then I might put a heavier weld right in here, and I might put a little bit of a weld here. And then once I get to that point, I'm going to take my clamps and I'm going to bend that piece all the way up to here. And it's going to sit actually underneath this frame rail, so I got to clean up the bottom of this frame rail. And then, you know, bend it up there and then just tack it into place. And then start finish welding it. Once I get that bottom piece in, then I can cut the rest of this front section out and start working on that. I didn't do that to begin with because this engine hoist is basically using the transmission cross member to relieve the pressure on the frame. It's pulling it up like that and relieving the pressure, because if I didn't do that and I started cutting that much off the frame, it's going to instantly try to drop down and sag in the middle, and I'm going to have that boat effect of the frame. So I needed to do my best to try to prevent that. And this is doing that. So that's why I'm actually repairing the rear section and not repairing the whole thing as one piece, because I need this to remain intact while I do that. Once these rear sections are complete, not the inside panel, but at least the lower section, this back will be strong enough where I don't have to worry about it. It'll be like a C-channel frame on a Chevy. So then I can come up here in the front, and what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to unbolt the cross member from the frame and from the transmission, and then raise the transmission up. And what that's going to do is it's going to release the weight that would normally be resting here in this weak spot. It'll relieve the weight off of it, because this will be holding all the weight. Then I can come in here and finish cutting out this stuff, and repair this area. So I'll talk to you guys in a second when I get some more work done. I got to cut these videos a little bit short as far as how many I do and what exactly I show you, because I need to get this thing out of my shop. It's like 40-something degrees today, and we're here, like I said, we're here in Syracuse. we went from summer to winter in like 3 days. So I need to get my button gear, get this out of here so I can get my wood stove set up. So I'll talk to you guys in a second. Okay, so I got this bottom plate all the way in, all the way to the front. You see the transmission cross members out. That's over here behind the seat. So basically, this is all the way it's being supported by the cherry picker, or the engine hoist, whatever you want to call it right now. And I've got the bottom rails tacked in, okay? I'm not going to finish welding them tonight, and the reason being is I still got to cut some holes. See here? There's some gaps that got to be filled with the weld, but that'll be fine because that bottom plate is going to have welds on the inside and outside. So where I fill in those gaps, it'll be fine because I'm going to fill it in from the inside because that's where it could be a little bit sloppy and I don't have to worry about it. And then on the outside, I'll climb underneath here and make sure those welds look good and are nice and solid, and then grind them smooth so that it looks like all one piece. Anyway, I got those in, but I need to go get some bolts. I was going to use these bolts here. I know they're a couple different lengths, but I was going to use this size of bolt, and they're grade 8, but they're a little bit too big to go in the factory holes on this plate. So I need to go buy some other bolts. These are the ones that were on it. I'm going to check right now. I haven't even checked to see if these are big enough, but I think they're a little small. Yeah, I need to find something between this and this. If I can't find anything between those two sizes, then I'm going to run with the bigger bolts, and I'll just cut this out so that the bigger bolts will work. Even if these are grade 8, and I think these are, actually, are they? No. I think these are grade 5. But even if they were grade 8, I just don't trust it. I'm going to want a bigger bolt, so hopefully I'll be able to find something between these. I'm pretty sure I will be able to. But I need to get 6 of them, 6 nuts, 6 washers. Then I'm going to try to get that stuff in the morning at the local Tractor Supply. Head back here, clamp the transmission cross member into place where it's bolted to the transmission, and then just snugged up to the frame rails. First off, I'll have to clean all of the floor underneath here. And then I'll climb under there, mark the spots where the holes are going to be, pull the transmission cross member down, and then blast through it with the plasma cutter. I thought about drilling them, but it's just going to take too much time, so I'm just going to cut them through with the plasma cutter. Not too excited about doing that upside down, but I'll make it work. A couple burns are nothing new. Once I get those holes cut out, everything's lined up properly, I'm going to attach the transmission cross member for the last time. Everything will be, well, it might not be for the last time because I'll have to weld this outside area. But I'm going to tighten it all up, snug, and then come in the inside and finish welding everything on the inside. Once everything's finished welding on the inside, I'm not even going to worry about welding the outside of this frame rail until I have all the panels on. So once the inside's all welded up, then I'm going to make my templates for this inside plate on both rails and get that done. Hopefully I'll get that done tomorrow night. I've got a club meeting, a meet and greet for Upstate 4x4 tomorrow afternoon or evening. So hopefully after that meet and greet, I'll be able to wrap this part of the frame completely up, which will be nice. At that point, I'll start working on addressing these body mounts that somebody made. I'll fix that, and then I've got to repair these two body mounts here. This one in particular, but this one's pretty thin too. So I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna go to Harbor Freight. They've got some hole saws that have some pretty good ratings. I could probably cut that with a plasma cutter, but I'd rather not. I'd like it to look clean. So I'll probably go get some hole saws, take some of the 3/16 plate, shape it to match, mark where my hole is going to be, punch the hole. I'll probably make it a little bit smaller than this so that I could just stack the weld on and have some room for adjustment, and replace those two. We'll see. I've got to think about that. But something needs to be done because this is all jacked up over here. I tried throwing a weld on top of it, but it just made a mess. So, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Like always, subscribe, comment, like. Check out alvarezmetalworks.com. Check out upstate4x4.com if you're from the area. If you're from New York State or just even the surrounding areas, say hello. Show us what you're working on as far as your rig on the forum. What else? Oh, I'm going to put the links down in the description for my Everlast machines. These things have been a blessing for me. If I had to buy the blue or the red machines, I wouldn't be doing this. That MIG welder right there has essentially paid for everything in my shop, okay, and in a year's time. So I'm very, very happy with these machines. They've served me well, and you guys should check Everlast out if you're interested in getting into welding. That's it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.